Heyo everybody, Haku here with my next read-through for Magical Girl Raising Project, and it is Memories of the Blue Magical Girl. So, this is going to be, what was it, Lapis Lazuline's episode, presumably. So, yeah, either way, the way this is working is it's either going to be up Wednesday or Saturday, because I got 3 long videos coming out this week. The Q&A is going to be later in the week, of course. And I either want this to be Wednesday and the Manmusu Top Waifu video to be this weekend or the other way around. So just letting you know that this is the only Magical Girl Raising project this week, especially because I think this is the most recent one that's been, that Platt's finished revising. So after this, we'll wait until the next one's revised, and then sometime next week or whenever he has time and that's done, we'll move along to the next one. So let's go ahead and start reading. Memories of the Blue Magical Girl. This story is set before Magical Girl Raising Project Restart and after Magical Girl Raising Project Restart's game. So I guess that's part of it is going to be before, part of it's going to be after. Either way, let's get into reading. Me? Huh? The Land of Magic. Could this be something related to magical girls? Sorry about that. It's just talking to me while I'm walking around doesn't seem very magical. That's not what I mean. I just have my own imaginations on these things, really. Having a big owl send you a letter, or having a witch on a broomstick deliver it. You know, those kinds of imaginations. Really, my bad. Huh? What? Yes, I have time. Okay. In the coffee shop over there? Blue Comet. Oh yeah, I did meet her. Of course I didn't forget. It's been about 1 year since then. Well, 2 years. Is she in trouble? Is this what's going on? What is going on, actually? Oh, you just want to know what happened when I met her. Okay. 2 years ago, I was a 3rd year in middle school. I was probably studying for exams. I was probably also worried about studying for exams. Okay. I worked hard, but my grades dropped, so I spent my days wondering if the high school I'll apply to will probably also have a lower rank. Oh, thanks for the Cafe LA. Where was I? Oh yeah, studying for exams wasn't fun, but I was wondering if my life would continue to just be uninteresting, boring, and I had no courage to blow off the boredom. That day was especially the worst. The chains on my bike spilled out. I worked at the library, so I was thinking of heading back home, but then I ran over something on the sidewalk and then my chain spilled out. That time I didn't know how to fix my chain, so I didn't know what to do. There was no one there. I can't ask for help either. And it was already getting dark out. I pulled my bicycle under a street light. I tried everything, but nothing worked. I'm not that good with these things. My hands got all black, and then I thought, what should I do? I heard a voice. Hey, you in trouble? I turned around and was surprised. She had black, short-trimmed hair and pale light brown eyes that looked kind, and that made her look mature, but it's because she was a really pretty girl, right? I stared at her and whoa, and she looked amazing too. She had a blue one-piece, and it was like some kind of national costume, wide over knees and a completely white, fluffy fur cape. Before these exams, I used to watch a lot of anime, read manga, and light novels as much as I'd take baths. So, I've seen a lot of things in those stories, but this is the first time I've met a real person with a cape. She had that accessory or something. Now that I think about it, it might have been real, but she had a white tiger-like black and white tail. What a mysterious, beautiful cosplayer girl, I thought. I thought she was from Akihabara or something. At least there it'd be normal, but why here? Then the girl pushed my confused self aside and touched the bike with her hands. When she pushed me away, I could smell a wonderful, fluffy fragrance. I can still remember it even now. Ah, the chains, huh? Let me give it a look-see. I was a bit afraid, not because someone I didn't know was touching my bike, but probably because the girl's clothes were getting stained. It seemed so expensive, too. Even I know a costume like that would cost a lot. The girl wedged the chains diagonally and rotated the pedals, and then it was fixed in an instant. Thank you so much. No, I'm just glad I could lend you a hand. Besides, she offered both her hands. She had slender fingers and beautiful white palms, but now it was dirty, black with oil. I hurriedly picked up a handkerchief and wiped the girl's hands, but I forgot, right? because my hands were also black and dirty from messing with the chains too, so the handkerchief, it got black too on the place where I touched it, and I just got even more panicked. That's not what I wanted, actually. Still, it's better if we washed first, right? The girl pulled my hand and took me to a nearby faucet where we washed side by side. She was a really pretty girl up close. She had a beauty mark. I was lost in thought, thinking, wow, she's so cute, that when she suddenly looked at me, I got surprised. Probably very surprised, too. Still, the girl didn't seem to mind at all. Right, I gotta give this to you. Sorry about that. As she shook off the water in her hands, she handed me some sweets. It was in a plastic bag and wasn't a branded candy. It was like if you bought it from a store ran by a local grandma. It was large and irregularly shaped. I wondered what I was supposed to do with these candies as I looked back and gave a half-hearted smile to the girl. The girl's face also looked confused, though not as confused as mine. I want to trade something for this. Excuse me? A trade. It can be anything, really, so go ahead. While we had a conversation that could hardly be called a conversation, she continued to shake her hands over the water. Well, maybe her attention was just distracted because she was so focused on our conversation, you know. Just when I thought she'd say, I heard a tremor as the girl's hands whacked a telephone pole. Clang went part of the pole as it was blown off, hitting the concrete like a shotgun bullet. Well, I've never seen a shotgun before, but it did hit the library wall, and part of it was now missing. The girl looked at the telephone pole and the library wall one by one, with a face that looked like she was saying, "Oh, that's bad." I looked at the girl. Well, how do I say this? Well, I was surprised, but I was also a bit happy. I've lived for around a decade, and this was the first time I've seen something like a manga happening. Thinking about it now, it really made me really happy. I was completely excited to my heart's content. I think you could actually see my eyes sparkling, too. Are you an Esper, mutant, superhuman, visitor, alien, abnormal survivor, cyborg, robot, interdimensional traveler, selector, god, an experiment, sorcerer, a different species? What? Super soldier, immortal, an awakened, apostle, kin, devil summoner, ninja, magical girl? Huh? How do you know about magical girls? Magical girl, you're a magical girl. No, please, I won't tell anyone. Please tell me about yourself. I didn't know if I was trying to force her or begging to her, and I didn't know how strong I was coming off to her. I don't think I've ever worked that hard in my life, ever. I think I want my first manga-like experience to end just like that. That's the only thing I cared about, so I was desperate. That girl told me, really, keeps this a secret, okay, and told me about herself. Her name was Blue Comet. That's a cool name. Well, it's kind of like a stage name, right? Well, my chest became elated when I was faced with the existence of magical girls whom I thought was fiction. I listened to her story. Blue Comet was currently being tested by her mentor to see if she was eligible to succeed her with the name Lapis Lazuli. The test was to help any troubled people inside the city and trade items with those people. With the items, grades slowly increased. By this time tomorrow, if she could show her mentor an amazing item, and there was no set categories for this, just that she show her an item befitting of the name Lapis Lazuli, then she'll have passed her test. She told me all that carefully. I was convinced this was real. If I run away from this, I won't have another chance. I'll live to the end of my good or bad life without experiencing any more mysterious or fantastical experiences. Regardless of whether that's good or bad, my life would surely be mediocre, I think. Blue Comet, what's up? If you want to trade, take this. I took out a fountain pen from my bag and showed it to her. I bought the pen with my New Year's money. I think it was about 5,000 yen or something. It was easy to use and very useful, but if it was the price I had to pay to have a real taste of the fantastical, then I don't regret it. In all of my belongings, I gave the girl the most expensive thing I had. Whoa, this is a rank up from the candies, huh? Thanks a bunch. I avoided the hand she stretched to me and kept the pen close to my chest. But I have a request. What's up? Since I traded you this in exchange, can I accompany you? At first I thought she'd refuse. What would I do if she refused? That's what I thought, but surprisingly she said, "Well, if those are your terms, then all right," acknowledging it. I called my mom and told her that my friend's parents would be at their relative's funeral, so I'd be staying at a friend's place to study together. Since I was a pretty diligent girl, I didn't think she distrusted me. I even had Blue Comet talk as my friend on the phone. "Hey, nice to meet ya," she greeted casually. A bit unlike my usual friend, so I was kind of nervous, though. "Oh yeah, I probably didn't ask, but what's your name?" "Ah, Miharu Yatsu." "Oh, Miharu-sei. Miharu-sie. I think it's just Miharu-si. I was trying to pronounce it as someone would pronounce something Japanese, but I think that actually that's fully translated, so I think it's just C. What's with the C? R's and L's end with, I end with C. Ko's and Ko's end with chan, and yo's I end with she. Honestly, I like Belzy. Honestly, I don't even know what she's saying, but I nodded so that it looked like I understood. What even was a magical girl in the first place? I didn't know if they'd be like the magical girls that I know about. Was this the rules of a magical girl, I thought? As I thought, magical girls were mysterious beings. I pedaled my bike to the fullest just so I was able to catch up with her, but it still looked like I was just dragging her down. She always stopped her feet and turned around with an expression that said, "Just a bit more, Kay." She sounded even more sympathetic when she said, "It's kinda inconvenient that you can't use your bike to climb utility poles or jump on roofs, huh?" I was wondering how she found these people in distress, but when I asked her, my intuition tells me, I feel like there's something over there. She gave me a very sloppy sounding answer. Let me grab some water. Really quick. One thing I'm still thinking is that even without the ability to see, or I think even to hear her, because Melville was able to stop most of the noises she made, it's very weird that, I already had my explanation, but just her bringing up this sort of intuition, it's really, really weird that unless we learn about another concept, another power, like sort of how through One Piece we had devil fruits and then got introduced to Haki later on, if we're introduced to another concept like this overall magic outside of their specific one ability that magical girls can tap into, then it's kind of this whole concept of her having this extra sensory ability, this intuition, is kind of weird. Now, of course, my reason for how she could find Melville without seeing or hearing her, though, was from smell, because we were hinted earlier on that Petchka smelled flowers, and then we know that Melville can turn invisible, so I from that assumed that when she smelled flowers that time it was because Melville was following her, and I assumed that even though they never specifically laid it out and spoon-fed it to you, I assumed that was how Lapis Lazuli or Blue Comet at this point, could tell where Melville was, and she did it by smell, and they just never spoon-fed it to you, but that was how she could do it. And you were just that was one of the things that as a reader you kind of put together yourself. So it's interesting though, I still believe it was smell, because that makes sense, but it is interesting that if she can tap into some sort of just intuition ability, though sadly that kind of nerfs the specialness of Snow White a little, so maybe not. She gave me a very sloppy sounding answer. Alright. Actually, maybe your intuition was excellent. She continued running where her finger pointed for 15 minutes. An old lady was talking with some backpacker white male in front of a small station. The old lady was petite, and the white male was about 2 heads taller than me, and his voice was loud. It looked like he was angry or something. The white man was trying to say something, but the old lady couldn't understand what he was saying and just shook her head. There were a lot of people watching, but all they did was look worried, and none of them came to help. Blue Comet came between them and began talking to the man. No, it wasn't a conversation. How do I say this? Well, both of them were using completely different languages. They were somehow able to communicate. It was a very mysterious situation. She pointed at the ticket vending machine, she pointed over to the platform, and finally the two of them smiled and hugged, shaking hands cheerfully. The foreigner disappeared off to go home. What was that? He seemed to have trouble on how to get to the station, so I showed him just now. You understand what he's saying? Nope, not one bit. Well, I had my intuition, though, so somehow I did. Instinct. Was this a magical girl's power? Well, while hiding the important parts and explaining the situation to the old lady, she said kids these days have such interesting ways of playing. As she offered one handkerchief and traded for the fountain pen, it was an elegant violet grass embroidered white handkerchief. It was probably really expensive. Okay. After that, she constantly traded items again and again. She ran as fast as she can to climb up a building. Yeah, she wasn't really climbing it, she was running on it. She ran up and then whoosh, she disappeared, and then whoosh, she appeared again. Anyways, we looked over everywhere for distressed people. I had to give it everything I got just to keep up with her. I started doodling up a character and give it to a kid who was throwing a tantrum. She showed the kid a magic trick where she bent a spoon. Well, she actually really just used her raw strength to do it, but it stopped the kid from crying. You're pretty good at drawing, huh? Well, if I'm only good at being a magical girl, how am I supposed to eat? My mentor always told me that if I was good at something else, then when the time comes, I won't be in trouble. There was an office lady who had to go to a party, but she couldn't put on her makeup, so she was stuck in the toilet. And then she did the makeup for the office lady just like that. I've done makeup before, so I think I can say this, but that office lady looked like a different person, like someone extremely beautiful. But wasn't that kind of like a lie? Still, the office lady seemed moved by her. You're really good at makeup, huh? Even if a magical girl transforms, her original face is still kind of transparent. So if you don't put makeup on your original face, your real identity might be found out. That's what my mentor told me. So it's cool too, we're seeing, hold on, gotta adjust my legs falling asleep. We're seeing sort of how the original Lapis Lazuli did train her through all this stuff, and it seems so innocent now. It's like almost crazy Doomsday Prepper type level stuff of like, don't trust people, hide your original face and all of that, but it seems so innocent coming from Blue Comet. Okay. We were being hit on by two men. Those men had brightly colored hair. It made my heart beat, a bit different than when I was beating because of seeing mysteries and fantasy. I've never been a girl that was catcalled before. It was probably because it was a diligent private school, but middle school students are too early to be catcalled. At least I thought so, right? Is someone gonna save me from this catcalling, I thought. But when the two men said, come and hang out with us for a bit, think of it as helping us out, Blue Comet cheerfully said, all right, got no choice if it's for helping people, right? As we were dragged out to karaoke. This was the first time I went to karaoke without any guardians. It felt weird. I don't remember what we sang. Either way, I thought I'd pass the time by eating some pizza and pasta. Blue Comet drank like crazy, and the two men were also drinking, singing like crazy, and by the time I noticed, the men were no longer themselves as they became drunk. When Blue Comet asked for a trade, they gave her a dull, shiny, it's kind of contradictory, a dull, shiny silver chain. Do people like that wear silver accessories? She thanked them, and after 5 minutes, they were snoring loudly on the sofa. Basically, since poison doesn't work on us, we don't get drunk no matter how much we drink. Huh? Drinking while singing really gets you drunk fast, huh? My mentor told me to take these smash people home. Well, I probably won't do it this time, though. I'd only do it for people who I'm interested in. Huh? Just what kind of mentor did she have? Probably some kind of troublemaker. Compared to that, when she grabbed the neck of an elementary school student as they launched themselves in the middle of the road after going back from cram school, I thought she seemed so much more proper. Just before I thought to scream out, she'd already moved too. Man, that girl, even her eyes were too fast to stop. Once I've improved my reflexes and the range of my utilities way beyond a human's, and trained to make them stronger, then when the time comes I'll be able to move amazingly. That's what my mentor said. That's awesome. It's like my body moves unconsciously when pushed to its limits. Even if my brain completely stops, my mentor says I'll be able to move a little bit. I think she was joking, though. And again, it shows like even when she was unconscious, she was able to grab onto Melville's leg. When she stopped the kid from crying, she traded the handkerchief for a scarf with the kid's mother. And when she helped the woman with the makeup, she traded the scarf for an earring. And when she sang and drank at karaoke, the earring became a silver accessory. Then she saved an elementary school student, but the elementary school student that came home from cram school didn't really have anything valuable on him, but she still had to trade, so she gave the kid the necklace, and the kid gave her a small doll in exchange. It's a doll of a shonen manga character, something given out while getting ramune candy. So the little guy was one of those toys that came with the food. So in the end, the game that I got myself into by those candies that she gave to me ended with a toy that came from some candies. I don't know if I'd call it fitting. The elementary school kid was pretty happy with the silver accessory, though. Kept saying things like, "Cool," and "This is awesome." But to us, even though we've slowly been getting better things, it kind of felt like we were back to square one, you know. And it was getting pretty late, And it was getting pretty late at night, too. The clock on my phone told me it was about 10:30 p.m. Would we even have any time left if we started all over again? That's what I thought at the time. Then Blue Comet ran off. What's wrong? I just got a real good feeling that something good's over here. So I used up all my spirit on my bicycle. Blue Comet was probably lowering her running speed for me, but it was still a pain to catch up. I was out of breath and my thighs were cramped, and the next day I had muscle pains. How far did we run? Since when did we leave the busy-looking places? The streetlights were also decreasing, and in this area you'd hear more stray dogs howling than you would people's voices. There were places where the asphalt seemed to be peeled off. This wasn't a place where you'd want to ride a bicycle in the dark, so I got off my bicycle, and at the same time Blue Comet stopped running like bap bap. A man came out of the shadow of a building, and I don't think it's even been a minute at all. I was surprised. I walked backwards without thinking about it. The man had a shaved head, a black suit, and with a gold and silver striped tie. His shirt was completely red. What I'm saying is, he didn't look like an honest person type at all. Given the area we were in, that's the only way I could think of that stranger. The man approached Blue Comet without even looking confused. When he got closer, I could see that his suit seemed to be almost bursting out. His muscles were bulging. I alone shook as I thought, if he got angry, no one could stop him. "Are you the magical girl?" He had a voice that was exactly I imagined him to have, a Yakuza-style dagger-like voice. "Yep, I see. It's too early for our appointed meeting time. Well, I guess you helped me out by being early. That's great if I helped you out. Helping people is our job, you know." Blue Comet replied back with that cheerful face, as if she didn't see how scary her opponent was. The scary-looking person shook his shoulders and chuckled. "Well, that's good. I guess it's true that your job is to help people. I heard that I'm supposed to identify you by some kind of doll." "Oh, I've got a doll." I think he maybe is perhaps looking for, oh man, this is gonna be funny, because I bet this is the guy, and he's looking to meet with Rianetta, and this is the story of how Rianetta got screwed by those Yakuza guys, that she said they lied about her and said that she screwed them out of a deal. They're probably gonna think that Blue Comet was Rianetta, and that's how they got screwed out of the deal. "Oh, I've got a doll." She showed the elementary schoolers' meal character doll, and the scary-looking man muttered out, "Ah, so that's what they mean by puppeteer, huh?" And once he nodded twice, he took out the Duralumin Case. "I've delivered the request you want to master. The compensation is exactly as you want it. We can exchange it to cash if you feel like it." "Oh, giving me cash would be too much trouble." Then I'll just give you this then. While he was looking at our direction and backing away, Blue Comet called out, "Hang on a minute," to the scary-looking man. "The doll, if you don't take it, it'll be trouble for me." "Oh, I don't have to take it." "You said I helped you out, right?" "Well, you did. So you gotta trade, those are the rules." "Is that so? I don't really get how this works." while looking at the meal toy with the difficult-looking face just as when he came out. The scary-looking man, or I guess I should call him the scary man, disappeared back into a shadow of the building. When I saw the scary man disappearing, I finally took a deep breath. I couldn't breathe since he came out. It was like my breath was stopped. Even though I continued to endlessly breathe out when I pedaled my bike. Is he a friend of yours? Nope, don't know him at all. So, I love how she just walked up, completely misread all of the situation, luckily, and got this case of whatever Rionetta was supposed to get. Nope, don't know him at all. The Duralumin case wasn't locked. She opened it, and inside was a stretched-out, wine-red soft fabric. 8 protrusions holding a jewel fixed in the center. That's right, there was a jewel. Just when I thought I could breathe, my breath was stopped again. There was a blue jewel that was like a baby's fist, beautifully cut. Oh, but it wasn't a real jewel, was it? I mean, could you imagine how much that had cost? Still, there were big things like that were cheap, right? I don't really know how much about jewels to understand, though. Blue Comet closed the lid of the Duralumin case and extended her hand towards me. I somehow wanted to shake her hand, but maybe she wanted a high five. I remembered how soft her palms were. Mission complete. My mentor will definitely be convinced with this. Congratulations. I thought she'd definitely fail, but in the end, she forced her way to reach her goal. How do I say this? Yeah, how should I say this? I guess that's just how magical girls are. With that, my mysterious and fantasy-like experience came to an end. After that, we went to a 24/7 family restaurant, and Blue Comet spoke with me. It was fun, but it wasn't mysterious or fantastical, so that part was over. Since that day, I didn't have any more mysterious experiences. I was able to pass to the school I wanted, and I was happy, but no, I don't have a boyfriend. I still want to be a magical girl even now, because that girl seemed like she was having fun as one too, but it's hard, isn't it? I wonder if it's harder to do that or get a boyfriend. Still, what was I talking about again? Her gray mixed with white hair reached her back, and she passed her arms through the sleeves of her deep green jacket. The elderly woman turned her back on the coffee shop and left as she heard the sound of the automatic door close behind her. She combined her hands and stretched it above her head. The sound of her backbones cracked. Hey, mentor. When the woman looked to her side, there was a girl with a student uniform. She had expectant, shiny eyes that seemed to sparkle. So, is it okay if I erase that girl's memories? The memories of the girl that you read... Hold on. The memories of the girl that you read were just as she said, correct? Yep. Then it's better to erase them. Her mentor began to walk outside the shopping streets with a closed jacket. The girl also followed. It's kind of sad that no one remembers the second anymore, you know? You don't have to think about sentimental things like that when you become the third. It would be bad if the second's misconduct gave you any trouble, no? It seems that girl never considered hiding her identity, or that magical girls should be something kept secret. But isn't that because of how you taught her, mentor? Yes, perhaps it's because of how I taught her. In order to avoid being questioned by the Land of Magic, we need to erase any memories of Blue Comet. Is that really okay? It is. The mentor turned around to the girl who stopped her feet. The way the girl lowered her eyes seemed as if she felt quite lonely, but the way her mouth corners curled, it seemed as if she was happy, and her expression seemed happy as well. Everyone may have forgotten her, but I'll always remember that girl. I guess that's a good thing, right? So basically, this entire person who just recounted their things is going to have their memory erased by the first and original, or I guess technically the first and the third, either or. So we know that there's going to be a third lapis lazuli, but they're trying to erase the legacy of the second, which is sad. I was kind of hoping at the end that the girl who was telling the story would end up becoming the third. But either way, I thought it was really good. I think that was one of the more interesting and engaging stories so far for the episodes. One of the better ones. So, yeah, either way, I really, really enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and end this now so I don't ramble on for too long. But, if you did like the video, comment on there to tell me what you thought of this episode. What you thought of my thoughts on it. Sorry, hiccup. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. Subscribe if you want, if you're not already, for more Magical Girl Raising Project, much more on the channel. If you want a link to our Discord server to talk there, just ask and I'll give you one. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.